Greetings and salutations, listeners. I, Eric J. Chucky, joined, as always, by the boy.
Hey.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast, and today, the shoe's on the other foot.
Is it?
Oh, it's a battle! We're talking about Rangers. My drink tastes like blue. How about you?
My drink tastes like cherry vanilla Pepsi.
Cool. Rangers. They're a class in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition.
They are indeed, and they're a good one.
If you're using the revised Ranger.
Even the regular Ranger's okay.
The regular Ranger is okay if you love writing 1,000 things.
Yeah, the revised Ranger is just so much cleaner.
As somebody who does game design on this specific level, I'm really happy for the devs who got to look at Ranger and go, oh my god, this is so clean. Oh, this is so much cleaner than what we did before. This feels so good. Because that's a good feeling.
It really is. As someone who has done a little bit of that, being able to just review something that's been changed and go, oh, this is way better. You fixed it. It's not different, really. It's just all of the concepts of the initial Ranger have been improved and streamlined by the revised Ranger. So the revised Ranger is what we're going to be covering, not the PHB Ranger.
If you want to look at the PHB Ranger, you can go to 5e Tools. That's what we did.
Or DnD Beyond if you want to pay money.
Or just download the books as a PDF. Steal money from the mouths of Wizards of the Coast children. I can say what I want on here. It's America.
We're never going to get sponsored by Wizards of the Coast.
The only way I could afford to buy every Wizards of the Coast book is if I were sponsored by Wizards of the Coast.
And then they gave them to you for free? Yeah.
No, I mean, I figure if I got a sponsorship, we could probably parlay that into...
Yeah, that's fair,
Yeah, you know. Anyway, I mean, like, support the shit you care about.
We buy Wizards of the Coast books, it's just...
Slow.
Yeah. And also, 5e Tools is better than D&D Beyond. Fight me, nerds.
Well, I'd love to see and find out, but I'd have to pay, so... Anyway, all
being free is part of being better.
All shenanigans aside. Rangers. I've played one.
I have too. No, that's the lie. I haven't.
It's a weird podcast. You've DM'd 2, though.
Yeah, I've DM'd 2 Rangers. I've played with 2 more. All different kinds. All of them were different kinds of Ranger. It's a really good class. Revised Ranger especially, but several of them were PHB Rangers to start. But Revised Ranger is just it gets shit online for some reason. Or did back the last time I checked. No.
Oh.
Even then, it kind of does. Like, Revised Ranger is like,
well,
yeah, or just be a ranged rogue. That's better.
So, and I understand entirely why Ranger would get shit online, specifically for Beastmaster.
The initial PHB Beastmaster was garbage compared to the revised. That's one of the ones where it's not close. Revised Beastmaster is so much better.
And I get it. I do. But, you want to do the balance and make sure there's not... I have anybody know how hard Action Economy in 5th edition blows the fuck up. So I can understand not wanting to add an extra widget to the table.
Yeah, but at the same time, the person who invested one of their whole, subclass into having a cool pet friend, a pet friend should probably be pretty cool and not lame and dumb.
Well, especially when spells exist to summon a bunch of, nature's allies or whatever.
Yeah, just one good person, one good friend, one good dinosaur boy.
Yeah, anyway. Ranger is, it's a big combination of rogue and fighter, if you're new to ranging. They have a few druid-like spells, a lot of exclusive ranger spells, which are interesting. They're not really there for the spell casting, and there is a spell-less variant of ranger out there, but we're not really talking about that today. It's fine. But revised ranger especially does a version of rogue and fighter really well. I feel kind of like, not entirely because rogue is still a fantastic rogue, But Rogue feels like the dark side version of Ranger's light side version of the same thing. Because Ranger goes really slow at it, and it doesn't get the big shit until way later. Whereas Rogue is like, yeah, I can do this all at once. I can dash, I can climb, I can steal as a bonus action.
I can do sneak attack. There is a piece of general design work in the Revised Ranger that I want to call out as being very clever and a really good way to balance the class for various subclasses. They take the fighter, barbarian, you get 2 attacks at 5th level, and they put that in the subclass. That way they can change it out for something else for balance reasons if having that and another thing would be unbalanced. That's how they managed to make the Beast Conclave, which is what it's called now, good, because they took the secondary attack the Ranger gets out and essentially gave them the Beast instead, which is a very canny change, and putting that in the subclass allows them to balance the rest of the class, the actual skeleton, without it, which allows the skeleton to be more robust.
Yes. Ranger does have a very robust skeleton, but as you proclaimed loudly earlier, and I did when I was studying this several hours ago, Ranger subclasses are fucking cool.
They really are. They're all cool. There isn't a shitty one. There is one whose capstone is meh, but that is it.
They are called conclaves collectively, but only the Beast and Hunter are called conclaves.
Because they're the ones that came with the Revised Ranger Unearthed Arcana.
Well, and they also only have one name. So.
Yep. Whereas everything else is 2 words, or 1 word that should be 2 words.
Let's talk about those subclasses.
Well, let's talk about the base skeleton structure a little.
You want to get a little deeper. You want to get a little deeper into what a ranger is. All right.
Because they're a half casting class, so they do have some spell casting, about as much as a paladin or an artificer.
Well, yes and no. Ranger has like the lowest number of available spells, so they have half casting structure, but they don't have a lot of spells to get.
They don't have a lot of spells known.
One trick pony. Well, and even out of spells known, like their spell list, their complete spell list is very small.
Yeah. So they have the same number of spell slots. They have the same number of spells to use in day.
Yeah.
It's just that their variety is a little. All your rangers are probably gonna have similar spells because some of their spells are bad. And you're probably gonna have Hunter's Mark because it is best in class. It is the best ranger spell.
For about the first 10 levels, definitely.
Yeah. After that, I haven't seen much.
I've gotten there with a ranger, and I've leveled one up, and it's a D6 damage, and it sucks up your concentration.
Whereas, like, once you get above that, it's one of those. It's like sleep.
Yeah.
It's one that scales really hard. When you first get it, it's really great, and then it kind of falls off, and you replace it with something better later.
Yep. Because, of course, certain rangers get stuff like haste.
And haste is just...
What a better use of your concentration.
Haste is just delicious. And scary, by the way. But, the thing itself is... The Revised Ranger itself is just so clean. You're in the regular Ranger, by the way.
I am in the regular Ranger. We're looking at it as we talk, because we're trying to be... There we go.
Yeah.
We're trying to be good Dungeons and Dragons knowers.
Like, just you start off with your own roguelike batch of shit you can do that other people can't do.
Yeah, Natural Explorer is... I've had some... Gonna get personal with you here, listener. I've had some problems lately in the old Dungeon Master's Chamber. You know what I'm talking about? And one of the suggestions given to me was that, maybe you should have more... overland travel issues, keep track of somebody to be a scout, keep track of somebody to navigate, keep track of someone to, find food. And I'm like, those are all great ideas. I have a ranger.
Oh, so never mind.
That's the guy.
That's who does that. Because Natural Explorer is, I would like my DM to not have to bother doing the, you guys get lost in the woods part of the campaign.
Or more so, I want to be the badass who the DM goes, well, you guys get lost in the woods. I find the way out.
No, we don't. I'm here.
I am here.
It gives, at level 1, you are fucking Aragorn.
Yeah.
And that is such a good way to start a D&D character. You feel so good. The new version of Ranger is such a cleaner way of doing it. The new version of Favorite Enemy is really good. It gives you a lesser bonus than the old version, but it's against a much wider net of things. Favorite enemy is you pick a certain type of thing, like all humanoids, which is probably what you should pick, or all fae, or what have you. And you get a +2 bonus to damage rolls, and a couple other bonuses, and you get other bonuses against your favorite enemies later in the class as well.
Yeah.
And it is... One, it's a great way of implementing the favorite enemy feature, which has been a part of Ranger for a long time. Mm-hmm. And it is just such a nice, clean way of doing it. That's what I really wanted to talk about with Revised Ranger, kind of in contrast to regular Ranger, is that it does such an excellent job from top to bottom of taking all the stuff that Ranger got and making it better and cleaner and more fun.
And it's basically all in favorite enemy and natural explorer. Now, don't get me wrong; they did fix a lot of stuff later in the class.
But it's just you start off on such a better foot.
Yeah, and there's so much fewer things to write down. It just cleans it. And, like favorite enemy for just one small example. All right, Boy suggests you take humanoids.
Whereas the old Ranger, you could take 2 different races of humanoid if you wanted. Instead of one of the other things, you could take orcs and goblins or what have you. Boo! That I think I know why I like this so much better is that I end up DMing Rangers a fair amount. Uh-huh. And this is such an easier thing to DM for. Because part of DMing is making sure your players get use out of all their class features and feel cool and feel like they made a smart choice. Picking the thing that they picked. It's so much easier to be able to go, oh, it's all undead, cool, than having to pick like, oh, they have advantage against plants, fucking super. Now I gotta go find the plant type enemies and find a reason to use them.
Yeah, I think that was a big complaint with the Ranger in the first place. Like that was the big complaint that they're Aquaman.
Yeah, this looks like a job for Aquaman. Was the running joke because you for Natural Explorer for the original version of that, whatever it was called, I forget.
It's like a favored terrain. I think.
You picked one kind of terrain. You're good at the forest. Well, what if the rest of the party leaves the fucking forest? Then you're fucked.
Yeah, because they put a decent amount of your class balance into your favorite terrain.
Yeah, you're just so much better in your favorite terrain. Super duper. That really limits my tool set as a DM. And that's very bothersome to me.
It either limits your tool set as a DM or you're making one player have a bad time.
And so it limits my tool set as a DM.
Right, exactly.
And the new version doesn't do fucking any of that bullshit, and I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, same. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about with the
not specifically core? for the core.
So let's move on to the Beast Conclave. Which, as we discussed a little bit already, that's where you get your animal companion. That's the
Ranger and his animal companion.
Classic D&D Ranger, yeah.
It's your panther for your...
You know, I want to step in here real quick. As much as I'm not a big fan of Frosting Sprinkle Twinkle,
God, I wanted to correct you, but I can't. I genuinely can't remember their names.
Icing Death.
And literally Twinkle.
Yeah.
God.
It's a different time, my guy.
Oh, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a different time. That was never cool.
I would, anyway, I think we need a Driss Dourdan either movie or Netflix series. I think we need to make Driss Dourdan cool again.
No. I think we need to leave him in the dust of history where he so rightfully belongs.
They refuse. He's getting a new game.
God,
Let's at least make
no!
him cool.
Why? He is... Driss Dourdan is the Mary Sue.
Oh, yeah.
He is the archetype. If I think Mary Sue, I think that fucking guy.
But I think there's a decent enough raw material there that some clever people could do something to salvage it. And that's the way I think we should do it. But yes, Beast Conclave is your Ranger with Animal Companion. Your Ranger with a wolf. Your Ranger with a hawk.
And personal story. One of the Rangers I DM is a Beast Companion Ranger. She started off as a regular PHB Ranger in the first campaign, and we're bridging into a second campaign featuring that character. And I was really worried because I remembered the Beast Companion not being something that scaled super well. I already gave it a buff from the book to make it fun to play in the first place. But I was worried that I'd have to work with her to try and give her something to make up for the fact that her animal companion just gets really left behind. Because the original Angels version does. Then White was like, no, look at the revised Ranger Animal Companion. And I went, oh, it's really, really fucking good now. Never mind, everything's okay.
Yeah. I also had some issues with Ranger with an animal companion, although he's not a Beast Conclave Ranger. This was like a magic item, basically. In the animal companion, not scaling well. I was using sidekick levels. This thing was a warrior sidekick creature, but its hit points just never got up there. So the animal companion ended up being a liability.
So he ended up, since the guy was a Horizon Walker and, didn't a magic item slot isn't worth the entirety of another subclass, he ended up having to find another solution for it because it just didn't scale well.
Sure. And we had similar problems. Basically, all of the healing was going to the animal companion.
So that the animal companion didn't die. Because everyone loves the sweet baby.
Yeah, exactly. But with the new Beast Conclave, you don't need to do that. That animal companion is fine. And you know what? If it dies, you get yourself a big, fat, juicy steak with 11 herbs and spices.
25 gold. You spend 25 gold and you can resurrect your animal companion.
And you go out in the woods for 8 hours and you cook that bitch on a George Foreman and that motherfucker shows back up.
Like, for 25 gold of, blah, blah material components, and 8 hours of your time, you can resurrect your animal companion at level 1. That is so good.
From a fluff perspective, I dearly love that it is literally food and spices.
Yeah, it is literally
you just make that boy a snacko, he will be back.
Make that boy a snacko, he gonna come backo. It's gonna be great.
It sets up so many good things because the rest of the party's gonna forget about that. So if something happens to the Ranger's animal companion, it's like, oh my god, he died to save us. The Falcon came in and took the arrow at the last second, or what the fuck ever. And then the Ranger's like, yes, what a noble death. And they prepare this thing, and they're like, oh, it's their favorite dish.
They're using like saffron.
Yeah,
and
they're like, we'll cook it in tribute. This was the Falcon's favorite snack, a roast hare.
There's a movement in the bush.
Yeah, it makes the red-tailed hawk noise. Or a crow.
Yeah, just a crow. I can't do a red-tailed hawk noise.
It's like squow.
Is it?
I'm really sad we don't have the live studio audience we were planning on having it. I think that would have landed. It makes good role-playing moments, and that's, as a small aside, something I love about 5th edition is that it encourages really cool role-playing moments with its fluff. We'll get to that again in a little bit, actually, right here in Ranger. Anything else you have to say about the Beast Conclave?
Real good, real fun.
Gloomstalker.
Yeah.
What if you took that rogue and turned it up to 11 in the Ranger?
This is the Ranger rogue. This one is, they get the extra sneakies and they can hide from people with dark vision, which is super cool.
It's fucking awesome. They also get like extra attacks out the wazoo.
Yeah, they get the most attacks, I feel like.
Of any Ranger, yeah. Well, regular attacks.
Yeah, not like conditional.
Right. They're stealthy boys. I don't have a lot to say about them, but I think they're really tight.
Most of the non-rogue classes have a subclass, which is a rogue.
Like all of the non-holy classes have a subclass that is but holy, though.
Except this one.
Yeah, that's strange. We don't have a Holy Ranger yet.
But this is your Rogue Ranger. I think a fun, interesting campaign idea would be like a rogue. Mm-hmm. Or no rogues, but the rogue subclass of like 4 other classes.
Like Cleric, Ranger, Monk, Sorcerer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. The next Conclave is the Horizon Walker. I have DM'd one of these.
I played with one of these as a fucking sorcerer. He regularly outdamages me.
And this was on PHB Ranger.
Yeah, he's operating on the revised Ranger chassis now, and oh boy.
This boy deals force damage. They are so mobile. They just hop around,
he's
teleporting.
Next to impossible to pin down, and he does so much damage, and it's force damage, so he essentially just ignores damage resistances.
You want to talk about a ranger being a DPS class? Holy shit!
I'm playing a literal sorcerer, one of the high-end DPS classes in the game, and unless I really put my foot on the gas, he out-damages me. And what's more, he can do it all goddamned day.
Yeah. Horizon Walker's got a lot of cool other things. Basically, the fluff around them is that they're planar rangers. So they can sense portals, and that's what helps them teleport and use etherealness and shit like that.
And they're used to, like, traveling on all the different planes. And it's a cool fluff.
Yeah. Hunter Conclave is the one I've played. They're quiet. Like, there's not a lot of...
They're not bombastic.
Yeah. They don't have a weird thing. They're just better, and you get to choose the ways you become better. Just extra damage to shit, extra resistances against stuff. Volley. Let's just get over here. Let's just look at this real quick.
Volley is...
I'm gonna read this at you.
Ugh.
Internet. Volley. You can use your action to make a ranged attack against any number of creatures within 10 feet of a point you can see within your weapon's range. You must have ammunition for each target as normal, and you make a separate attack roll for each target. Please note, there is no limit to the number of times you can do that.
No. So, that's what? How many creatures is that?
Well, it depends on the size of the creature.
Well, if they're all... It's like, say it's medium creatures. Like, all mediums. Like, you're aiming a point, and then all medium creatures in a big lump. Because that's 5 feet is 9. Because...
I think they would go up to like 18 to 20?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. But, it's also great, say, you're an enemy sorcerer or druid or whatever throws, those summoned creatures at you. And you go, well, you know what?
Nope.
I'm going to turn those off.
Yeah, because you murder all of them individually with an individual attack.
Good God. You are the defensive line. You will stand there all day and fire arrows.
Now, to be fair, the melee ranger has a similar feature.
Yes. It's
that actually that's a good bridge into something that I've been meaning to talk about. I think of ranger as a ranged class, not just because there's the word range in it, but because that's just how I've always seen rangers. It's man with bow. Ranger is the man with the bow. Legolas, but no. Legolas isn't really a ranger in the Lord of the Rings so much as he's a fighter.
I think Legolas and
he's an elf, so he's good at nature, but he's a fighter.
I think Legolas and Aragorn
is the ranger.
Rangers. I think they both are. But Aragorn has chosen a different ranger template. Whereas Legolas is a hunter. He's about the dual wield and the shoot.
Yep.
Because he takes his little knifeys out.
And he does the stabby
stab. So.
And Aragorn's good with the bow too, but he's... I've always thought of Ranger as a ranged class, but the archetypal Ranger doesn't usually fight at range. He's Aragorn, he's a swordsman.
Or Drist, for that matter.
No, not him.
Look, you may want to reject him, and I respect that. But he was a formative character for a lot of people.
They're wrong.
Homeboy fights with 2 scimitars.
I don't care. I don't hate Drist as much as I'm memeing about here. Just before you come at me, nerds, it's okay.
Oh, please, come at him in the comment section.
Like, comment, subscribe, don't ring the bell. I'm never going to advocate you ringing the bell.
Man, we had a new subscriber the other day. He told me he rang the bell, and I'm like, why?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
And he was like, do you guys upload a lot? And I'm like, no, it's just about once a week. Oh, well, that's fine then. So if you want to ring the bell, go off. I don't know.
I really appreciate it. That shows you have more commitment to this channel than I have to any YouTube channel. So that really warms my heart. Thank you, sir.
Yes. We appreciate all of you, viewer. Ultimo Dragon. We haven't referenced our viewer by name in a long time. Ultimo Dragon.
It was the Frankenstein bit that we couldn't kill for a long time.
Yeah, that we still don't know where it came from. Less Frankenstein and more,
It's just there.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
It's all right.
It's kind of fallen off, I think.
It has, Anyway, that's Hunter. It's nuts. It's Ranger Plus. Monster Slayer is
toss a coin to your Witcher. If you're not trying to build specifically, literally a Witcher, so you have to do a bunch of weird multi-classing to get the various runes they can do. If you're happy with magic-wielding warrior who hunts monsters, this is Witcher, the fucking class. It is so neat.
I like how they, at later levels, get counterattacks to stop spells and teleports and effects that provoke a saving throw.
They have one thing that I really fucking love. It might be their capstone. I forget where it is. It is a thing they can do where if their favorite enemy, I think it's their capstone. It's their 15th level ability.
Slayer's counter.
If one of their favorite enemies, if the target of your Slayer's prey.
Yeah, they have an extra, like, Hunter's Mark / favorite enemy thing where they look at a guy and go,
"You tonight."
Yeah.
If the person you have decided is your Huckleberry for the day, tries to do something that makes you take a saving throw, you can instead punch them in the fucking face. How dare you try and make me make a saving throw? And if you hit them, you pass the save.
That's some good shit.
That is so good. That is so fun. Because no one is good at every save. So it's, oh shit, I'm really bad at charisma saves. Or I could deck you in the fucking teeth for daring to try and cast a spell on me, and then I pass.
It's some high quality shit. And it challenges your DM to throw multiple spellcasters at you, you little bastard.
I'm DMing 2 paladins in the same class, in the same party, and I have decided that their paladin order should stack because the other way is boring and not fun for one of the paladins. But that means that I am gonna have to juke and jive on anything that gives saving throws because otherwise they're never failing one.
Gotta split that party up, my guy. Make a scatter. Throw people with breath weapons in. That'll do it. I've watched it happen.
Actually, that is one of the really good things you've done as a DM, is that a bunch of people in our party have ways that being nearby to the other party members makes them a lot more effective.
The wolf companion I was just talking about, one of his things, he can do a howl, and everyone within 5 feet of him gets advantage. Very similar to the wolf's natural ability to give advantage to people attacking the same target as it. But it only gives that advantage to those people that are within 5 feet. So if you have to scatter the party out because you don't want to all get hit by the breath weapon.
And I'm playing a Divine Soul Sorcerer, so I have Cure Wounds, and I can reach spell it to hit someone far away, but that costs me sorcery points, which are a more limited resource than spell slots. So it's helpful if I can be next to the tanks, because then I can just slap them, give them a good old, doing a great job, pat on the back, and Cure Wounds. But I can never do that. Because I never know when it's okay. Roll me a con save. Oh, you did badly. I have these extra 2d4s. 1-1. Oh no. But yeah, it's really caused the party. The party's new method is we travel in a group in case we get ambushed, because it's nice to be able to, circle the wagons if you get ambushed. But then as soon as any big boss fight starts, all of us go fucking pell-mell. Yeah. We go 6 ways to Sunday. We try and get as far away from each other as possible, and there are points where we will point at the person and go, come over here, this is my area, you fuck off over there.
Respect my bubble. Next we've got the Primeval Guardian, where you become a tree.
This is the tank.
Yeah.
This is the Ranger tank, and it's a fucking really good tank. That's why I wanted to bring up melee Rangers, because so much of this kind of doesn't work super well if you use like a range like a bow. It works okay, but not as good as it could. Whereas if you're a Ranger who's using melee attacks, it's fucking excellent.
Unless you're protecting the caster.
Yeah, unless
Do not come near me. I am protecting the caster.
I have a bow, and I'm firing away, and if you come near me, I'm gonna get great big and turn into a tree beard and fucking curb you, because you will not come and hit my precious wizard boy.
I like that abbreviation of curb stomping for 2 reasons. One, it's just very off the cuff. It's nice. It goes in smoothly. It curtails a well often said phrase. 2, I think it will naturally evolve eventually into Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is longer, but like subtle. It's svelte. It gets in there.
I was planning on introducing it
Nice.
and then expending it over time.
I saw the end. I saw the event horizon.
You saw the ultimate bit?
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm a curb your enthusiasm, motherfucker.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Then you extend the bit to just start. You play the song.
Yes. Yeah, Primeval Guardian. I almost played one of these.
I think they're the ones whose capstone is a little underwhelming for me.
Oh, well, let's see.
They get a big area of healing though.
Oh yeah, they get some cool shit.
It was this or Hunter.
Guardian Aura. No, when an ally starts to return within 30 feet of your Guardian form, that ally
If they're
regains...
lower than half hit points.
Right, and that's a pretty common thing for big old healing.
For
like that,
non-dedicated healers things.
Right. Hunter Conclave, Superior Hunter Defense.
Yeah, that one's it's good, but it's just you get more rogue.
Yeah.
You get to pick a rogue thing or a very unique like ranger only thing if you're a tank ranger. That is just but 2 of the 3 options are just literally rogue class features that you can steal. Good ones, evasion and uncanny dodge, which are great. Yeah. But still.
There's a reason I went into rogue.
Or I could just multi-class and get that much sooner, essentially.
Yeah, basically. And that's actually something I meant to bring up with Ranger in general is multi-classing a couple of levels of this shit is great.
Just taking like a 3-level dip.
Like, it's not something you want for a caster.
You almost never want to multi-class a caster, unless you're multi-classing another of the same tier of caster.
Or a warlock.
Yeah, Warlock is the exception to that rule. Because Warlock multi-classes absurdly well with everything.
But if you're playing a fighter or a rogue or even a monk and you're not too concerned about your capstones, or you don't think your campaign will get there, which, let's be honest, most of them don't.
Almost none of them.
Take a couple fucking levels of Ranger. Take the first level of Ranger. Get yourself some extra bonus damage against shit. And immunity to so much crap in the wild.
I mean, basically, yeah. The 1 level dip of Ranger could be treated as just adventurer.
Yeah. But our final subclass for Ranger, final conclave, is the Swarm Keeper. That's the most recently released one as well. I believe my notes here say bees.
As your notes also say, or anything, because the swarm isn't actual animals. They don't have actual biological needs. It just looks like anything tiny that you want. So the thing actually mentions, you can just have a bunch of squids who crawl all over you. That's cool, right? Yes.
Yes, that is fucking cool.
That is fucking cool. I could have little tiny cuttlefish.
You could. I've been wanting to play a character I have been referring to as my Throne of Rats Goblin for a while now, and it could be a multi-class Warlock Ranger. Why not?
The Swarm Keeper is so fun because all of their shit is really cool. It uses really fun stuff from the various, it uses really fun implementations of I'm Willard.
Yeah. And it can be anything, and I love that. That's so neat. And you got some really cool stuff. You got, you can move, you can fly with it, you can hover, you can be held aloft by a tide of rats. I mean, come on. Or butterflies. It fucking doesn't matter.
If someone had a tide of rats lift them into the sky, I would have to try playing Duel of the Fates.
This is what Throne of Rats Goblin is about.
Just
yeah, Ranger subclasses are great.
They're all good. There aren't bad ones.
No. What's your favorite?
That's really hard. Probably Monster Slayer, just because it is such a clean implementation of the idea of what it says it wants to be. It's very clean. But I like them all. There aren't bad ones.
No, I agree with that entirely. My favorite is probably Swarm Keeper, but that's close. I like Gloomstalker. I like Horizon Walker and Hunter and Primeval Guardian, but I've been in that headspace, so eh. However, honorable mention definitely goes to Beast Conclave because of that glow up.
Yeah, honorable mention goes to Beast Conclave for me as well because it's so much better than the original.
What about your least favorite? I know you don't have a hated
I
one.
guess Primeval Guardian because I naturally think of Ranger as a ranged class.
Sure.
And therefore Primeval Guardian doesn't quite sync super well. It's a great melee ranger, but I don't, even though I know I should, I just don't at my base if I think, hey, I'm going to make a ranger. guy who uses a sword just isn't on the list of options.
My guy, the fact that every fighter you've ever made isn't a bow person is astounding to me. So this is not.
I
new
like
news.
men with bow. Or lady with bow. I like lady with bow. I'm gonna be honest.
So if you're out there and you're looking for a good time, ladies, bring your bow to the comments section. Is the comment section okay? Is that good?
That's fine.
Okay. My least favorite's going to be Monster Slayer, just because its abilities up until the last two are really underwhelming.
That's fair.
They're cool.
I like them because they're cool.
Yeah, they are cool. And I'm not saying I wouldn't play a Monster Slayer. Like I said, all the Ranger subclasses are good. But, it's probably least.
But because all of them are good, any of them that have a remote, I guess this is not amazing. You're never going to play it because all the other ones are also good. So you can play all of the rest of them first.
So here's the big fun question. God, this podcast is going on long. I guess we love Rangers. How do you subvert the Ranger?
First off, I play a melee character.
For you, yeah.
I would probably play, I would probably play someone who is, one, a melee character, and two, is just fucking tired of being in the woods.
Yeah.
Is really good at being in the woods and uses that skill to get the fuck out of any wilderness as soon as possible back to town. Uses all that skill of you're fast and you just be like, I hate sleeping on the dirt. I hate I hate mosquitoes biting my neck at 3 a.m. I'm tired of this. I just want a bed and some ale. I want to get back to the city. So he uses all those skills that make him really good at being in nature to get out as fast as possible.
So here's a fun thing, and I just happened to think of this as you were talking. I was going to go a similar way, a civilian ranger, someone who lives in the city, someone who's based around the city. Because natural explorer shit says nothing about you can't use this shit in town.
Right.
You are immune to difficult terrain. You ignore that shit.
Right, so you could use that in the city. And
you could definitely use that in the
Revised
city.
Ranger is what makes this concept viable, by the way.
So let's say, for example, you play a Gloomstalker in the city. Moving around, absolutely unimpeded.
Yeah, you're a rat catcher.
You're a rat catcher, or you're fucking Ezio.
Yeah, you're Assassin's Creed.
You are Assassin's Creed. People with dark vision can't see your ass. Until you pop out of the darkness and swiftly draw your hammer and beat the shit out of guys in a circle.
God, I hate how you play Peggy.
I took a level of fighter. You weren't expecting that.
But yeah, you just fucking pop out Requiescat and Patcha.
Yeah, and just dead guy. And then you disappear back into the alley and throw some money behind. Everyone's like, whatever.
The easy way!
But how would you play this?
Not subvert it?
Yeah, not just how would you straight up play it?
Hilariously, because, and keep in mind, I don't like this series. I never read the books, and I don't give a shit about the games. I like the first season of the show so much, I'd probably just play a Monster Slayer and basically play a Witcher. Play someone, pick Simic Hybrid, or one of the classes that has been experimented on, and, one of the races, excuse me. And then just play someone who gets paid to take down monsters and is feared by people. I would just do that. It's... As someone who doesn't give a shit about that series, really, I'm free to not have to be super regimentedly attached to the specific things Witchers can do, and can just take the overall concept and fucking steal it, as is my desire to do with all things. How would you?
Well, I mean, Throne of Rats.
Yeah, I mean,
but
yes.
Also, Lord of the Butterflies has come to be during this fucking podcast, and god damn, that's powerful imagery right there.
Just like an Aladrin or some very beautiful...
There's, what was the character's name in that Laurel K. Hamilton book that, he's a vampire who's...
the Obsidian Butterfly.
No, way back before that. He was a vampire and his animal to call was butterflies.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone was like, wow, you're lame and you suck. And he's like, I don't know, I kind of like them. They're cool.
They're nice.
Yeah, I just would love a very peaceful looking person who's just surrounded by beautiful little butterflies and then fucking uplifted in a cloud of them raining death from above.
He's gonna play the metal version of that Owl City song.
Hell yeah.
You would not believe your eyes if 10,000 fireflies came and they bit your eyes.
Oh, yeah. So, That's Ranger. We love Dungeons and Dragons.
It's a fun game. We all good here?
Yes.
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it.